It's another day here, sunny in London, and you're watching us live from www.ben1television.com, online streaming, and of course on Sky Channel 182, and for those in Nigeria on the Star Time Network. What are we talking about? Well, as we say, Nigeria is in the eyes of the world. We know what? Because a lot of people are talking. And in fact, today, the Nigerian President, Muhammadu Buhari, is visiting London on what they classify as official holiday for 10 days. And during that time, the President will be visiting his doctor, as referred by his Nigerian doctors as well, for something that is very important. And nevertheless, Nigeria, good people, great nation, 170 million of you guys over there and more than 10 millions in the diaspora. There is no doubt that indeed Nigeria is in the eyes of the world. But we're talking about the 365 days of the President Muhammadu Buhari. We're talking about politics in Africa, politics in Nigeria, the #1 economy, and number 6, 7 largest oil producing nation. We're talking about the performance of ministers, potentially, and we're talking about the performance of governors in Nigeria. But as we said, it's something that the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom described as fantastically C. But C could be a credit. Nevertheless, we're talking. And it's good to share and to hear from other people of opinion. And today in the studio, we have a former minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, a businessman, a classifier and known entrepreneur, a man who knows the South Side very well, and indeed a person who has contested to be a governor in one of the major oil-producing states in South Side, and of course, by and large, in Nigeria. It's a pleasure to have Barrister Kenneth Gbagi with us in the studio. Honorable, you're welcome to London, and thank you for accepting our invitation to be here.
Thank you very much.
Well, as we said, we're talking about Nigeria. We're talking about things happening in the largest economy on the African continent. First and foremost, as a businessman, and of course, through business, is from business you actually went into politics. How will you describe the economic or the business scene in Nigeria presently?
Thank you very much, Alistair. Talking about Nigeria, politics, and business, my take is we were a sick nation. The nation was sick. It's been sick. I'll describe it this way. If you remember my article during Abacha's government, I said one of the greatest problems Nigeria has got is we're a father without a nation. And I then likened it at the time to Minister Mentua of Singapore. Mm-hmm. We have a situation where Nigeria is a cash cow, where everybody believes nobody owns anything, and you can just go, dip your hand into the tills, do what you want, and run away. So if you look at it from my business point of view,
yes,
we have now taken a new dimension. We have started a new journey. We have started a new culture of, this impunity with taxpayers' money, this impunity of doing things the way you think you can do it without nobody asking you, this impunity of, just go ahead and destroy the economy because nobody's going to ask you because it belongs to nobody. So that is where we have been for a long time. That is what this situation right now seek to correct. It will not be a very easy task, I must tell you, because we've got so much money, so much wealth, so much propaganda machinery in the hands of the persons who believe things must be done illegally and wrongly.
Right.
So to that extent, with greatest respect to the president today, he's got a Herculean task to try to right the wrong, where you've got millions of persons who have already believed in a particular way of doing things, who had already believed in a particular way of robbing the treasury, who had already believed that it is a way of life. Now, coming to have a man of that age, of that calling, who believes that it has to be right, it's not easy. And I can tell you, they will do any and everything, given the resources at their disposal, given the exposures at their disposal, to try to create such situation to make it look as though there's no performance on his part and he will not make any achievement and success. So that is all the fallout you're having in the country today. But I must tell you, as a businessman, he's on course.
On course.
The country will be better for it.
So which means, as a business person, you're facing the challenges under the first year of the President Muhammadu Buhari, not because of something that he created, but it's because of what they made on the ground.
Yes, whatever Buhari is doing, Buhari has not done anything, untowardly. What is going on today is that this man has, I feel very sorry for him, I must say, he's come to meet a situation on the ground where everything was upside down. And to start from this end, wanting to bring it to this end, is not easy at all. So at the end of the day, you have a situation in your hand where these persons who believe, for instance, that this is now, illegality has become a way of life, are going to fight with their last blood, because they are all headed to, of course, incarceration, because it's not going to happen. So it is not anything that is made by the president. No, the president hasn't done anything. If you take, for instance, look at the kind of amount of money that has been collected or gotten from thieves. It's enough to run some nations for 5 years. But those are funds that have been collected already. Not, I mean, you will hear that clip. It says, we're not talking about the aircraft we are seizing. We're not talking about the houses. We're not talking about all the physical assets that are to come along with it. So you see, the country was breathing, to destruction. The country was meant to collapse with what was going on. So between you and I, unless Nigerians will know what they want, Buhari need the prayer and the support of great Nigerians, people who truly believe that we must own a country like Britain is, like America is, like other great nations, Singapore. We must now rely and support this man. Forget all the propagandas.
But you're a politician.
I am.
Yes. So
proudly to say it so too.
So how did we get to where we are today?
Put it this way, Alistair, your house today, whatever is the situation of your home, is what you make of it. Once the head is bad, all the followers, no, it's like you say, nobody should wear foreign clothes. And the president goes to buy foreign clothes. I can tell you that Nigerians are so wonderful that they will beat him and everybody will buy foreign clothes. But if the president is one who will not accept bribe from you, if the president is one who will not take money, taxpayers' money from you, if the president is somebody who you cannot come and tell that we should jointly destroy this economy for our own personal interest and gains, I can tell you it's only a matter of time. I ask Nigerians to be patient. All of this propaganda will come to nothing. The country is on course. I confirm the knowledge I have as a criminologist that it will be difficult for you to get this president to be corrupt. The man Buhari, you can never get him to be corrupt. No,
in fact, okay, people will try definitely to see if they can get their way around him. But the idea as well is stemmed from the fact that people have different opinion about the president. You mentioned criminology. Right now in Nigeria, there is an organization that has given a threat, or rather they've given their words that from the 7th of June, they're going to start creating tension and riot, and they are from the South, linked to something called the NDA, Niger Delta Avengers. And you are definitely from either South or Niger Delta.
I'm from Niger Delta.
What do you think the impact of this message and the crisis of this oil pipeline destruction on Nigeria?
See, put it this way. As I've said to you, the president has stepped on toes. And obviously, quite correct in the right direction that he has to for a country that is, crime infested, Now, what we must all agree, first and foremost, that the president cannot be everywhere at every time. If you see these people who have announced to be Avengers or Niger Delta liberators and what have you, they are people that are sponsored by certain individuals in the country. What strikes me very urgently is that part of the persons that participated in this discussion of how to destroy pipes as far back as January have come out to the public to say, I was in this meeting. I was involved. This was the plan. These are our sponsors. Any country in the world, anywhere, you have enough
information
to stampede the situation and get rid of it. If you remember my last interview here when the Boko Haram syndrome came up, I said that what is the chief of army doing in Abuja? What is the chief of air force doing in Abuja? Disgracefully, I mean, Bada, who was, was supposed to be fighting insurgency, ended up being driven away from his house, but he was keeping taxpayers' money meant to fight insurgency in his pocket, and he was chased away from his home. Loyalty is the issue. Now, so if you ask me, we have on record today that the persons who are blowing these pipelines are sponsored by certain persons in Nigeria. You and I know them. We know the chief sponsor right now because it's been published several times that this man is the one sponsoring everybody. It's been published that there was a meeting held that life will be made impossible for Buhari when he comes. This is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. I'm from the Niger Delta. I'm an Orobo by tribe. We are not a party. We are not a party. I will soon convey a meeting of core Orobo traditional rulers and persons. We are not a party to violence. We are not a party to breaking of pipes. We are not a party to destructions of the resources of this nation for whatever reason it has been. This struggle, when it did happen before, which of course was the same struggle that was on, that gave the last president, my boss, the vice presidency slot, because of this same struggle. And if they think that is the way to go about it, because when it did happen, not all of us, the Shekiris did not benefit, the Urobos did not benefit, the Isokos did not benefit, the Kwales did not benefit, so, and they're all Niger Delta people. So what I'm saying is that it's only a fragment of individuals who have been brought into acts of, it is definitely an act of crime which must be punished by any sensible country. And unless we do so, we are wasting our time. You cannot destroy the economic life of a people. The cause of what happened in Ogoni is still plaguing and destroying us till tomorrow. So for you to be blowing pipes as a way of agitations for recognition, I can tell you Buhari will not fall for it. I can tell you that the agencies that are saddled with responsibility to make sure that this does not happen must immediately start doing what they need to do to make sure that this is not a continuum and to make sure that we do not destroy our lively sourcehood. Because nobody is going to come to rescue us tomorrow. It is an in-house fight, and we must make sure that we come together as a people to make sure that we end it from our own end point of view, from where they are coming from.
So, Nigeria indeed, as you know, Barrister, has been one of the largest oil producing nations in the world. But right now, even Africa, we're not the top producers. What can we do to reduce the tension, even though you have identified that Nigeria needs to do this and the agencies who are responsible should take care of the situation, but it is very tough. What can Nigeria do?
I don't agree with you, Alistair, that it is tough. Nigeria is a homogeneous country. Everybody that is participating today in this crime of busting pipe are known. They know them. The people know them. The agency, disappointedly, had not impressed me. They ought to do what they need to do. We cannot sit down and some few individuals, some crooks, I call them crook, childish crooks, come together and bust pipe. For God's sake, let the SSS, move to the field. We have no reason. This is the economic state of the country. Let the soldiers go to the creek. Let the Navy go to the creek. And let them form bodyguards to... We cannot continue like this. Unless they are parties to it, we cannot continue. I mean, it's not a difficult thing. I'll give you an example. When we had this major battle in Delta, where Ijos were killing Robos were killing Ijos, Shekiris, like that, I called the former president, Obasanjo, in the morning. I said, look, President, I need to see you very urgently. And he says, come over. So I went to him. And he says, what's your problem, Kenneth? I said, my problem is the issue of Delta. I said, I am partly Ijo. I have children who are Ijo. I have children who are Shekiri partly and all of those. This killing will exterminate us. And of course, the source of this killing is not far-fetched. And he says, discuss. So I discussed with him. He says, this is the position. This is what I think. And one of the solutions I gave to him, I said, declare an immediate state of emergency in limited areas. 13 days earlier, the president had declared a state of emergency in Jos, Diriye. And the president said, sorry, Kenneth, if we do that, we will look as though we have failed. But I have a solution to that. And the president took his telephone, and what I heard was, James was then the governor. James, one more gunshot, I'll declare a state of emergency in Delta State. Believe you me, that was the end of killings. That was the end of the ammunition. That was the end of the problem. We cannot let ourselves to be looked upon as a laughingstock in the world just by the act of few criminals who believe that the proper way of doing things are too slow to success, and as such, they need to be criminals to get to where they are going. Look at the kind of money the president has collected from agencies that are federal related.
That's true.
If governors did the same, today we would have had so much. Delta State is the poorest state today, given all the kind of money we've had. You've been to Delta State.
But they are the third largest IGR.
Nothing to show for it. I'm from Delta State. Nothing to show for it. Now, these criminals need to be brought to book. Because it will make those of us who are hard-working people who believe in the core rule of law in the country, to do business and so forth, it will make us look stupid. So what I'm saying is that we must have what we call agitations to get it right, which is what will happen in Delta. I've made up my mind that I'm going to talk with the present governor. We've had a number of discussions, but his body language versus what I see, I cannot put it together. I want to talk to him. And by doing so, I want to find out, because we cannot live like this. Somebody must have to die for something. Somebody must have to believe in something. We are Nigerians. I cannot stay anywhere in the world for 2 weeks. Never. I've never been. So apart from when I went to school.
Right.
But so the issue we have here is that we must identify these criminals, no matter who they are. The only reason why America, big as they are, no matter who you are brought to book. One of the things I think I will credit this president for is that he will deal with situations to the letter. And that I believe that these criminals are not difficult to be identified. Bring them to book, and it will send a very serious lesson. Because if you remember, this agitation started actually from the Niger Delta, resource control. After resource control, we moved to some other people from the east who wanted to break away. Then we went to Boko Haram. Then we now came back to Avengers. Now we come to Niger Delta Liberation. We need to send a hard knock. We need to send a message there. Because it will continue. They will reconverge. They will come up, and we need to send, more particularly, the kind of money that had found itself to the hands of criminals, be it criminals that had been in government or outside government, traders, business people, all over the world. People trade in criminality, selling arms and all of those, is enormous. we need a more serious blow than we've ever dealt before to be able to correct the situation. If not, we'll become a kangaroo nation.
Kangaroo nation. Let me see the contrast between you being a businessman or entrepreneur before going into politics. How do you marry the two?
Put it this way, my venture into politics was my conviction that I have something to offer and I can correct something. But believe you me, let's believe that the situation will be a lot better. The criminals that are all there wanting to use politics as an apron to come out as a human being are quite enormous. The kind of thing I've seen in politics today is very, very serious. One want to wonder whether I should remain in business or I should continue to. But the question is that if we don't have our voice there, things will go very, very bad. So to that extent, we remain business people, we will die as business people. Of course, if you truly are a businessman, politics is just, a temporary and a side thing to help bring part of your knowledge from business to... What is the problem? If you take typical governors who attempted to perform in the country, are people who have tried being either professional lawyers like Fashola, the man Akpabio, irrespective of, they are no saints, I will say, but if you take the people who did anything, are people who have some business to offer. But no matter the school you go to, it's only a fool that thinks that he needs more than he can eat. He needs more than he can, So if you take all the money that has been snatched away from Delta State today, in the last 17 years, 16 years so to put, the money, they can't eat the money. They cannot do anything. They're not providing employment. The last governor tried. He brought from the loot. He brought ShopRite to Warri. He brought one ShopRite to Asaba. He built hotel because I built hotel. He's trying to do a few things. The question here is, if these monies were to be spent for the generality of the people, more people will come to Delta. In the last 16 years, Delta State, Warri in particular, was one of the first 4 provinces in Nigeria. Today, nobody wants to go to Warri. Nobody. In fact, I have some friends, business friends, who I say, come and do something in my hotel from London. They say, no, we need insurance company to identify and make us, give us better certificate if we can enter into Warri. This whole monster called criminals have destroyed everything called Delta State today. It's not the same. It's a jungle. I have friends, when I go to Warri, they say, where are you going? I say, I'm going to Warri. They say, to Warri? I say, yes. Are you still normal? I said, but it's my place. I have no choice. So we have tons of money stolen, kept in the place, tons of money put in the hands of people with guns and criminals, and the government need to do something. It is my fervent call that Buhari must urgently reenact the SSS and EFCC in such a way that they will be in every state. It is not sufficient for you to say the money that is coming from the federal government purse to the state by constitution is that of the state, which of course is what the House of Assembly or the Senate, they should consider re-amending. They must protect that money, because not to do so, the people get poorer, the people get agitated. That is what is leading to all of this various gun struggle we are having today. Because if anybody had come to Delta and, for instance, we have gotten $4-5 trillion into the economy of Delta, and 90% of this money is nowhere to be found, how then do you want to fight these boys or blame them for agitating to steal oil, blow oil pipe to sell oil, to make their money? Because the people who have stolen this money and have come to spend it and flaunt it in the faces of these individuals, nothing has happened to them. With greatest respect to EFCC, nothing has happened to these criminals. With greatest respect to SS, nothing has happened to them. With greatest respect to the police, nothing has happened to them. They are big men in society. Then bench them against me, who go through hell to earn a penny, to earn. Then we all sit in a gathering, and then these people are better recognized for doing nothing except looting the treasury. So what I'm saying is that the government must reprioritize their priorities by ensuring that we get it right. If Buhari fail to get it right, there will be anarchy in the country.
Yeah, Bayanaki. Well, we're still talking to Barrister Kenneth Gbagi, who is a former politician. Well, he's a former minister, former governorship candidate, and of course, still into politics, but as a business entrepreneur, somebody who has divulged into both worlds, and he's still as much on the ground as a businessman, as much as a politician. Well, we're talking about Nigeria, good people, great nation. The President Muhammadu Buhari in London today for the next maybe 1 week, and we will see if we can bring you any highlight from some of the places that he may be visiting. But we're still talking here. Now, we look at Nigeria as this wonderful big nation. Many people see opportunities. Few can see the challenges of either lack of security, lack of opportunities as well. But now, one of the words that you mentioned actually is there are things happening in Nigeria or in Delta State. Not many people would like to go to worry. That means there are issues. That means there are challenges. What would they do?
No, you see, the governor of the state is the chief security officer of Delta State. I have a date with him and Destiny that we must talk. Because all my investment, for instance, in Delta State is in a state of jeopardy because of the situation we have in our hand. He has to make up his mind as to first deal with the issue of security. It's not a cosmetic situation. If people are very happy to go to Akwa Ibom, if people are very happy to go to Cross River, what is wrong? We must go to the root of it. Who are the sponsors? How did we get to this level? Where do we put a stop and move further?
Just for a minute. Let me take a caller who has been interactive now with us. Larry, let me quickly take your call. Hello, Larry.
Yeah, hi.
You're welcome to the program. Where are you calling from?
Good afternoon to the gentleman on the show. It boggles my mind when people are making analyses about Nigeria, and they are making analysis as if the problem of Nigeria is only 6 years ago. I just don't understand, because this man, as learned as he is, I don't understand why issue and intricacies of Nigeria is being referred back with the narrative, with the insinuation as if it's 6 years ago problem. Yeah, you can have billion being stolen today, and that is the value of money. Before it was 2 point whatever million. And the ratio and the currency rate of today's money is billions. Okay? That is one. What this government is doing, they were putting Buhari as if he's the only savior in Nigeria. The way your guest puts Buhari, if Buhari will die tomorrow, God forbid, that means Nigeria has no hope, the way it's been presented. So I don't understand how somebody in his caliber, a businessman, a barrister, can handcuff Nigerians' hope on Buhari and APC on Buhari. I really don't understand this narrative at all.
So let me get it right. Are you basically saying that Buhari is capable or he's been challenged so that the barrister can highlight?
It's a wrong narrative to say Buhari is the only Nigerian.
Right.
Or they present him as incorruptible, the same pedestal like probably Jesus Christ and Muhammad.
Okay.
I mean, it is very, very, very wrong narrative. It really boggles my mind.
Okay.
So if this man died today, maybe
what
there's
happened?
no hope for Nigeria. It's
okay.
Very, very wrong.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry. Let me, Honorable, before you answer Larry's comment, he's basically trying, Honorable, he's basically trying to find out if Buhari is the only savior. But before we go into that, let me take Austin. Austin, hi. Austin?
Hello?
Hello, Austin. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Italy.
Italy, okay. What's your comment or question for Barrister?
Okay. What? Hello?
Talk to me. Don't listen to your TV, please.
Yeah, I've loaded my TV.
Okay. Talk.
Yeah, please, because I am from the Niger Delta, and what is happening in the Niger Delta is a mess to me, and I'm not happy over the whole situation. Now, federal government want to fight the agitators. Let them think about in the 60s now, in that area, nothing has been done. I am in the overseas. I see Japan is surrounded by water, and they have bridges to all villages, all cities in Japan. The airport in Japan is surrounded by sea. Now they found NDDC, all those organizations are using the money for nothing. What I need, I want to start in my contribution is that to stop even these agitators, let the federal government start developing the areas. When they start developing the areas, then this thing is going to be stopped.
Okay.
Because look at it now, at the fact if the federal government fights the Niger Delta, they're going to cause lots of problems in this world. I'm watching them now. I am watching. Whatever thing happens, somebody will move. And it will not be something good for the Nigeria as a whole.
Thank you very much, Austin.
For long.
Thank you. Let me...
Look at Lagos. Look at...
I got the point of Austin. So that barrister, so that you can... Austin is basically talking about the agitators. That maybe the government has not been developing that area. But then again, this government is just a year old in the system. What happened to the previous government that has been there under one party for the last 16 years?
Put it this way. Let me first reply to Larry. It would be wrong for Larry to claim, most probably, let me put it this way, he didn't quite hear me. I did not say Buhari is the only person. I pride myself that I could do the job. So, there are millions of other Nigerians who can do the job, who have what we call self-ego and discipline. There are people who are acquiring things they don't need. That's why I say Buhari, most probably because of his age, Buhari, most probably because of what he has seen in life, I don't see him as somebody who is corruptible today. He may have his own life and what have you, but taking his totality today as a person is a wonderful person to rule a country. Haven't said so. The second caller, incidentally, my brother from Niger Delta, Austin had said development is a must. Let me declassify this a bit. As a minister, how do you develop the Niger Delta? I talked about the NDDC and what have you. What was the total budget of the NDDC during the last administration? It was 50 million. Is it 50 million or 50 billion? If we ever got that money. However, what is Mobil doing in Lagos?
Mobil, the oil company.
Yes, what is it doing in Lagos? What is Ajib doing in Lagos? What is Total doing in Lagos?
Don't you think maybe they moved to Lagos because of security issue?
They have never ever been in the Niger Delta. And I made a proposal in government, which was very simple. You don't need legislation, you don't need anything. All you need is to call the GGM nappings and say, let the oil company move contiguous to their location of production. That automatically will bring a revolution to the Niger Delta. I spoke to the then Minister of Petroleum. I proposed, and he says, oh, this is a fantastic idea. Just like when I took over as a minister, if you remember when I came here, I just created 13 universities actually, and federal government guest colleges all over the country. Everybody was abusing me. Today is a blessing. So what I'm saying is that, why do we go to government other than going to stash and steal money? Is to bring policies that the people will be interested in. I took a policy. After every year, what the Nigerian Total University can provide for schools, for access to our children, leaves 940,000 Nigerian students qualified without placement, without a place for them
every year.
Every year.
Almost a million.
Almost a million Nigerians. The government has prescribed WAEC, has prescribed NECO, has provided JAM and everything. This Nigerian brilliantly had passed all these exams, but they have no place because the place we have is so tiny. So what did I do? I created 12 universities. It was not the president, it was me that did it. He didn't know. The president was not aware. He didn't know I was bringing a memo. I did it because I looked at it. And the argument was very, very funny. In fact, one of the most robust arguments I had in council as a minister was those universities. Today, all those universities had reduced the situation of the suffering of Nigerians to some level. Not yet. I mean, we still need another 50, 100, 150 universities in Nigeria, given our population and the rate we are growing.
Wow.
So, a typical minister, for instance, in Nigeria, how do you solve the Niger Delta problem? It's not to move money there, no. It's to put an arrangement in place that will generate a lifetime situation and benefit for the people. If you take Mobile, for instance, move them to Eket, where their production and everything is. Give them the powers to say, use part of your money and income to produce an international airport. Fly from America. If you can fly from America to Lagos, you can fly from America to Abuja. What stops you from flying from America to Eket? So build an airport there. All these proposals I gave to government. Now, take Shell, go to Port Harcourt. Build an international airport that suits you.
Why don't you take the existing airport, for example?
No, whatever. If you don't want to take it for whatever reason, the trouble, what is wrong? Every small country in America has 2-3 airports. So what I'm saying is that take them and you move them like that. Take Chevron, move to Okerekoko or this, and let them develop the place and all of those, and live with the community. Now, in that scenario I painted for government, we would have established a new head of the immigration with a whole team and battalion. That gives us another 500. They can pay for it. Take police command and everything, give to them. Take a soldier, and the whole place will start developing. And before you know, this whole attitude of making Lagos, Kano, and now Abuja, where everybody goes away from weekend, as the only hub in the country, makes it stupid. It doesn't work for me. I believe that the country should be allowed to breathe. The country should be allowed to develop. And in developing, these people, if you can put immigration to look at people coming from the airport in Lagos, what stops you from putting immigration, putting police, SSS and everybody in Bayelsa? It will only create greater security. It will create employment. It will expand and open the place. So what I'm saying is that I agree that we need development, given the fact that, in fact, that is the only area where you have so much resources, yet they live in poverty. They live in wallow. However, I must commend the president. We were in government when the United Nations, the world body, wrote a report about Ogoni. Let people look at the fact that the president had commenced something in Ogoni, as opposed to the government that did not do anything at all. To me, is a plus. We have started. It will only get better. It will only get better for us. When Ken Sarewa died, if I tell you what I lost as a person, it was a very difficult moment for me in my life. But thank God today, everything he said, even while he was being murdered, today, God has used him to liberate the Ogoni people. And Ogoni people can only be better for it. Nobody wants to make sacrifice. What I'm saying to us is that Buhari have children. If I say Buhari alone is the only person who can do it, it's a lie. Buhari's children may just have not that attitude of greed to say, let's destroy the national economy for our own pocket. And if somebody is referring, like the speaker earlier on said that, oh, there's somebody who stole 2.8 billion or 2.8 million, up till today, nobody has been able to prosecute it. The man has published. I told you people in the press interview that Buhari will publish the looters and who looted what and what amount 5 months ago. This week, we've released some. The names of all those people who had stolen those money and we have those money, I can assure you Buhari will publish it.
Right?
Everyone must know.
We're still talking to Barrister Kenneth Gbagi. Let me take Yinka. Yinka, you're welcome to the program.
I'm very fortunate to be with you.
Hi, Yinka. Thank you.
I'm happy with the barrister you are having in your studio this evening.
Thank you.
He has said it all, despite the fact that I just eavesdropped to listen to some of the things that he's talking about. he said something about the standard of education we have in Nigeria. That's another state discussion. He really dropped that bombshell. Doctor, I want you to pick it up. The level that Nigerians and the Nigerian government delay the Nigerian youth to match time on the same spot on the different types of this examination clause to delay them before they will get entrance into the universities in Nigeria. It's another issue we need to talk about.
Right.
Look at the incident that is going on in Oyo State at the moment. That the government decided to give back the schools to those the people that it belongs to. That the labor union now tries to play another political game to disrupt the welfare and the standard of things in Oyo State. Let me leave that one for another day. Let us go to the issue about these people in the Niger Delta. And I'm asking, we have Barrister there. And I'm listening to some of your contributions. I will be honest with you that I have a lot of issues to what is going on at this present moment in that area concerning the government of the day. Doctor, we have money for NDDC and what is the name of that organization being headed by Akpokoro Kemi?
Akpokoro Kemi. Okay, is that...
Nimasa.
Nimasa. Let them give account of how much that the government of Jonathan gives per each year for his own 6 years to his people in Niger Delta. And I would want to see what and how they use the money to benefit the ordinary citizens in that area. But today, the so-called Avengers are bombing many places all about. Did they use that money to get that ammunition or somebody sponsor them? That is another discussion for another day. What I want people to know today is that yes, we play sentiment when it comes to Nigeria issues. I've read on the different blogs of the incident that happened in Kano. But I'm very happy that today Nigeria is now having a turnaround to that incident of the Nigerian, it is a lady in Kano. That each people that they took their photograph, police should apprehend them and take them to court for man or woman slaughter. And it has to happen. We are not going to allow them. We are not going to allow them to go free because of religion. It's enough. And if they are not playing games around saying that Buhari is a Muslim, how about his vice president? A French Christian, a pastor for that matter, under the Redeemed Christian Church of God? And I will be happy to tell Nigerians today that we have the two religions at the seat of power today. Nobody will be biased or be doing prejudice to many things that need to be done in Nigeria today. Even if Buhari wanted to play by the role of being a Muslim, you think the vice president will accept? Do you think?
Okay.
The only thing we are asking is to give this man and these people room to do it perfectly the way it's supposed to be done in Nigeria.
Right.
It's time of let's come together and eat. Or what is business as usual. It's gone.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Yinka, so that I can come back to Barrister to expand on their comment and views.
Yinka, many thanks to you. You know, when you see people go to rob, 4 or 5 people in those days when we were a lot younger, they go and do robbery in the night. What has happened is the people who had put themselves together, who are thieves of oil, thieves of the treasury, people...
Are you sure they're thieves?
Yeah, they are thieves. I mean, when you take what does not belong to you by simple definition in law, they are thieves. Now, the question here is, all of these people put together are faceless people. But they have found money, so much money, by this act of criminality over the years. The last speaker made some sinister statement to the extent that the crime or the problem in Nigeria today is not dated only to the last 6 years. Nobody says it is. But who have ever, where is the guff in all of this president to have probed these people, to have brought them to book? For the first time, alarmingly, we are hearing that we have made trillions, recoveries running to trillions from people. All these people's name will be published. I was a former minister. If I had money, publish my name. If I have records or events or situations where my money cannot be accounted for, publish my name. I boast to tell you that. I mean, I'm not a poor man, put it very, politely. But I have struggled, and every check I've seen in my life, I have a copy of it. So what we are saying is that we must do it right. Let us not fall into that crooked arrangement of sending WhatsApp messages, sending text messages of how the president cannot sleep. In fact, the first 2 months of the president's ascendancy to office, he will not imagine that the so-called Nigeria we call our own had degenerated to that level. So that again is sickening. Let us not fall into the hands of crooks that are going to trap us as a nation, send XSS messages, send WhatsApp messages, and saying the president is doing this, president is not doing that, all as a blackmail. There was a total mess we had. Let us now bring it back to book. How much has Nemasa returned? So much money. How much is... We are collecting money from people who got money that does not belong to them. You will imagine these same Avengers or some persons from the Niger Delta had alluded to the fact that the Minister of Petroleum is not from Delta.
But is he from Delta?
For God's sake. The man is... The father
they
was
said his
justice.
name probably he sounds like more from an Igbo state rather than...
No, Delta, as it is constituted, the man is from Onichubo. I know him to his house. I have been there before. When the father was alive. In fact, I was close to the father. So the question is, how do you just wake up? This is the kind of propaganda I'm talking about. How do you just wake up and say a man is not from a place just because you do not like the man, or the man is not... The things the man have done in the oil industry, nobody, unless this president is envious, nobody has been able to do it since the history of the oil business in Nigeria.
Unbundling it on the NNPC.
Unbundling NNPC back to the people and let everybody account for what they want to do. What is wrong in being transparent? This minister cannot go and put one over the president to say he wants to be a big man. He cannot. Well, I mean, I trashed the other issue the other day where somebody was saying the minister is driving the same plane as driven by Desjani. That was all rubbish. The fact remains that the man was driving the plane as put together by the JV Ventures. And he's not paying extra money except that he's leveraging on what is already on the ground, and whether we use it or not, we will pay for it. Do you know?
But then he is a successful business person.
He did his business and succeeded. He rose to become the vice chairman of Mobil.
Yeah.
And I mean, for him to do that in a multinational company like America will monitor them, he's paid his dues. Look, we're talking about deregulation.
Well,
do you know that in the history?
Before you go into deregulation, let me take Falabi. Falabi, you're welcome to the program. How are you doing?
Hello, Falabi.
Falabi, yes, you're welcome.
Yes. Hello, I'm calling from Northampton.
Northampton, okay.
Lester, good afternoon. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
And we are proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I would like to say hello to the barrister as well.
Yeah.
All I just want to say is that Nigerians are passing through a very difficult time, but we should not lose heart and not lose hope. At the moment, we'll be facing so much challenges, but if we can just give this government a bit of time. I was among those that came to your television station last year,
okay,
under the PDP platform, and were interviewed with Steve and some others. We went to Abuja and we saw what Jonathan did. We haven't said that, the government is no more. It's a new government. It's just a year old, so let's give them time and let's see what they can do. Let them prove themselves right. My only concern is just that the governors of each state, too, need to take responsibility. It's not just down to Buhari alone. Each state needs to try their best to stand in a gap to take that responsibility by doing what they are supposed to do. Because it's not just down to Buhari and Oshibajo to do the job. So if each state can create, job for our people, and do the right thing. And we, the so-called Nigerians, I mean, we, the people down the grassroots, to be honest, paying our electricity rightly, doing what is supposed to be done. We shouldn't be, sabotaging the efforts of the government. I know we will get to a place.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I just wish the government all the best.
Okay.
And the barrister and all of that should just try and continue to, speak to the governor, speak to the president to keep doing what they're doing. And we believe we'll get to a place at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Folabi. Thank you, Folabi, all the way.
Folabi, very quickly, no way, given the mindsets of Nigerians, the governors who have ruled in the last 16 years, if they've been allowed to go away with their loot, these ones will not do any better. It is about time for us to form a vanguard of people and persons who believe. You rightly put it. Buhari is only responsible himself, and Oshiba Joho is a very close friend of mine because we're all product of the University of Lagos and all of you. Now, they cannot do it. They don't have access to deal with the situations in the state. Whereas, the poor situation of the local government, because we have 3 tiers of government, one tier is completely exterminated because the local government tier does not exist anymore in a lot of states. What the governor do is that they muscly remove the local government system, they take their money and do what they want to do and give the local government chairman peanuts and all of this, and then they are there because they are not there by the popular opinion of the people. So to that extent, that 3rd tier, government must immediately reenact it and make sure that they carry out their functions, because that is the nearest tier to the people. So once we establish that situation and get people to know precisely, let the government start publishing as they have been doing, and then people from every local government should be taught their right to make sure that they fight and assess that money to final usage. Then to the state, you will see development evenly. Buhari can develop the whole of the federal structure and what have you. If the state is not affected, the local government is not affected, then the agitation will be for a while. Okay. People are carrying taxpayers' money as it is now, which they ought not to do, and we must not allow them. And stop blaming Buhari for every war we have. NEPA today is not in the hands of Buhari. People who bought NEPA, people who took NEPA over, did not even pay money for it. It's not Buhari that did it. We don't have light today. The people have taken over the structures of NEPA and what have you, but there's no light in the country. What would Buhari do? Would Buhari now, sensibly, all he needs to do is to take over those assets back, because first and foremost, let the people who claim to have bought NEPA in the various states and regions produce the evidence with which they bought it. Produce the source from inception where they got money and where they will house this money to. It's a round-tripping situation. So you are not going to have anything really happening. And a country without light, my factory today have no light. A country without light, what do you expect of such a country? You are in London, you are in Dubai and all of those. Light is a necessary instrument for development. So what do we do? If Buhari were to, from day one, take over NEPA back in the whole country, which is my position if you ask me, people will say, oh, he's been a dictator. But you must, if you have an appendix...
Are you proposing, for example, that the PCNH or the power holding company should go back to the Nigerian government's hand? Or
immediately? We were better off. We could hold somebody responsible.
You mean NEPA is better than what we're having now?
Of course. I've been an industrialist in this system. I've been a businessman in the last 25 years. Yes. The light situation we have today, if you take a typical situation, I'm from the Delta. The lady who bought NEPA in Delta, for instance, was somebody who was indicted in Union Bank. But let me not go into personal issues, please. But put it that way. Today, you just come disconnect your light, whether you pay or not, put a maximum meter, generate it. What did they pay? All of them in the country. What did they pay to take over that national asset? What investment did they ejected into those national assets to make it worth the while? The conditions and what they signed was that they were going to improve the situation. We are perpetually in darkness. So what I'm saying is that Buhari needs to close his eyes to help us as a people back as a country, because as it is now, we are in a state of comatose.
Wow.
In all sectors. Children are drifting and running away from the country because there is no source of life. There's no employment. Buhari cannot employ people. There's no business coming. If you take the whole of UK today, I would want to believe that business employment will almost be the same level or numbers with government employment. You don't have people coming to establish business. People are warehousing this money in warehouses, in tanks and things. They are not investing the money. And as such, every year we are doing budget. Where is the budget going to? So what I'm saying is that Nigerians should side with the president. Not because I'm a party member of the president, but I believe that he can do us a lot of good from the mess we had found ourselves and not caused by him.
Still talking to Barrister Kenneth Gbagi, who is talking about the Nigerian situation, Niger Delta South, and of course your own contribution to the discussion on 365 days of President Muhammad Buhari, the first time an opposition party has been in power after 16 years of one single party dominating and controlling the resources and government in Nigeria. Kenneth Gbagi, of course, as we say, he's a former minister, a businessman, entrepreneur, who has operated in Nigeria for the last 30 years in terms of business and probably was actively in government and in politics within the last 7 years or so. Nevertheless, we're going to take a little bit of a clip here to hear what the diasporans are saying, and then we'll be back after that clip to continue on to the end of this program. So stay with us. We'll be back after this short clip.
Prove Nigeria, put your experience and determination, and God willing, it will happen. Whatever savings we will make from stopping corruption